Let's learn about SQL CTE, common table expressions, versus subqueries. Typically, we use these when we want to use the results from one table as an input to another table. So in our example here, we're going to look at sales data, and we're going to have store level sales data that we're going to eventually want to aggregate to country level sales data. So here in this first section, we're going to discuss subqueries. So in this reg section, we have a subquery, that is a query within a query, where we're looking at sales data by store, and we're aggregating the sales to get total sales. So the output of this table will be a column called store and another column called total sales, which is going to be grouped by the store. Now look at this outer query. With this outer query, we have this table of country states, and in this table, it's pretty much mapping every store to a state as well as to a country. And we're going to take this country state store mapping, and we're going to join it with that previous store sales data, and we're going to join it based on the store ID. Now, what result are we interested in? In this example, we're interested in country as well as sales by country. So we're going to select country. We're going to sum total sales, and total sales is coming from that subquery here. And we're going to group by country. Hence, that sales data that come out with is going to be country level sales. So this is a subquery. Absolutely nothing wrong with it, but it gets messy when you have this extra query, which could potentially be quite long, kind of tucked in away as part of the main query. So as a cleaner version of doing this, we can turn to CTEs, which is common table expression. So with CTEs, you actually calculate this, but store it as a sort of a temporary table or a common table expression. So in this case, the syntax for CTEs is going to be with, and let's call this SL for sales level. And what is SL going to be? It's going to be this subquery. So it's going to be literally everything we had before in red, which is going to be store, sum of sales, as total sales, from sales table, group by store. Literally exact same thing as the red section. Let's even make the parentheses red also. So now we have this temporary table called SL with the results of the store sales. Now we can cleanly write the next section, which is pretty much going to be the green text we have up here. So let's have our select statement, and we're going to select from country state as before. It's called country state CS. Inner join. And this is where the magic happened. Instead of writing this huge expression, we can actually just write SL, which contains the results of that subquery. And we're going to join SL on country state, store ID equals to the sales level, store ID. And we're going to group the results by country. And so we're going to select country, sum of total sales as country sales. So this code is quite a bit neater than this code. You don't have this random subquery in the middle of your giant query. Instead, you separate your subquery as its own thing, and then you use those results later in the main query. And this becomes much more, or the value becomes much more obvious when you have many subqueries. This is just an example of one subquery.